Hey y'all, it's Michael. So for today's video, I thought I would do my favorite non-bookish things throughout the year. I decided, because I'm a little bit behind and work right now is kicking my butt. Like this time schedule change is just, my body is just not used to these times. Like waking up at 3 a.m. really changes your perspective of time. Like it's loopy at this point. I thought I would upload my favorite books of the year later on. Probably, actually I was thinking of doing it in January so that way I can have a little bit of a leak, like a cushion, so that way I won't have a big gap where I don't have any videos since I'm going to the Philippines. So if you're celebrating Christmas, this will be presented on Christmas Eve, so Merry Christmas. Yay! This was kind of hard because like narrowing it down and then making the categories and whatnot, like deciding what and making sure this video isn't too long. I think that was the hardest part. So I grouped everything up. We're gonna go pretty fast through this, okay? So music-wise, yeah, I don't use Spotify, so I just don't. I've used Spotify before, but then I transitioned to Tidal because of Beyonce. So yes, I'm sorry, I'm shallow. But one of the things that I love Tidal for and why I stick with them and pay the extra money, they really got it together and presented this thing called Masters. So Masters is interesting if you've never listened to it, so it's gonna be hard explaining it to y'all because it's like one of those things that the other streaming websites don't have, so it's hard to explain to people who've never actually experienced it before. So Masters is a type of format. It's basically loose, but it has a higher bit rate than what your other streaming websites present to you. And this is one of those things where you can really hear the difference. Like once you listen to it, you can really hear the difference. You know how the best way to explain it, if I like try to verbalize it, is that you know how vinyl has that very old, scratchy, like really nice tone to it. When an album is presented in master quality, it's kind of like it has this richness, this fullness to it. You know what it feels like? It feels like full. Like at the end of a meal, you feel full. Like full. Like just something about it. It sounds so different, especially if you have like really good headphones. You can really hear it, but it sounds so good. This year, they re-released Beyonce's Lemonade album for their anniversary, and it was literally like listening to the album again for the first time. It sounded so different. Something about it, like y'all, if you ever get to experience the Masters sound, I would highly recommend it. All right, so the next thing that I put on here are movies. Now I didn't put on here like my favorite movies just because like I feel as though I didn't go to the movies enough and watch like the big theaters to recommend y'all like my favorite movies type of thing. But one thing I did put on here, AMC created their A-list program, and y'all, it's one of the best things ever. I love it so much. So far in December though, I haven't been using it as much because since the kids, it's been so busy at work, and then the kids are out of school, and I was like, oh, by the way, none of this thing is sponsored. None of this video is sponsored, by the way. So yeah, there's that. The next thing that I want to talk about is like probably a movie going experience that I really enjoyed. I love going to the movies, not only because like the picture quality and like the sound quality and like eating popcorn and like actually paying attention to the movie, like nothing's bothering you, depends on what the movie is, but the movie going experience with the audience, like the way the audience like especially for big movies, reacts to the screen, like in my opinion, that's like part of the experience. Like that makes a movie better or worse. And one of the best things, I'm not gonna lie, this was like a really great experience, movie going experience, was going for the Avengers Endgame movie. I thought that was so much fun because like you could just feel the aura, and I was so surprised that everybody was so cordial during that showing like I went to. And then the moment, this is a slight spoiler, but the moment when Captain America grabs Thor's hammer, like the whole theater just went wild. And I'm not gonna lie, y'all, I've been to some awful movie going experience, like throw up awful, like bad awful. Right, the next one that I have on here is TV shows. Now, if you know, I watch a lot of TV shows, So narrowing this down was really hard because like some of my favorite shows this year were like Fleabag, Killing Eve, Pen 15, Evil, which is so good, Mandalorian, Pose. I love Pose so much. They went to a beach episode. The beach episode was so good. I love beach episodes. Like in animes, if you ever know me, like that's one of my favorite episodes whenever they do is the beach anime episode. What We Do in the Shadows, so great. But I think the one thing I would have to give a shout out is this year is for HBO. This year, HBO's programming was the reason why I paid so much money for them because the programming was so great this season, like this year. Oh my god, like we got things like Los Espookies, Euphoria, Veep. Oh, Veep, so good. Barry, Chernobyl, and then two of my favorite shows that I would have to say like my favorite. One is Succession, and then the other one is Watchmen. Oh my god, two shows are so. These two shows are so different. If I were to pick, these would probably be my top two. Oh my god, both shows are so fantastic. I love them. I love Succession because it's basically rich, white, awful people doing rich, white, awful people things. And then Watchmen is a look at a comic book literally thrown, like a remix thrown on its head. And the way that it covers about the black experience, about like your family, about heroes, mask, superhero, like it is fan-freaking-tastic. I love it so much. It is one of the, oh, so good, so good. Yeah, HBO, I think this year was like, and I'm excited for HBO Max. I will pay whatever that's going through. So the next thing I thought I would talk about is K-pop. Okay, so this year also I did notice that a lot of booktubers really got into K-pop, in particularly BTS. I don't know what sparked it exactly, but yeah, I actually started listening to K-pop during what they call the golden era. So around early 2010-ish, my first K-pop group was probably like the Wonder Girls. Oh god, they are incredible. But I think my first, like, I was like, whoa, this is, because I listened to their song was in English, so I was like, oh, Nobody But You. But I was like, oh, this is in English, but they're a K-pop. They're a K-pop group, and then I listened to like SHINee, and oh my god, I love SHINee so much. I love SHINee so much. Ah, that's my favorite K-pop group ever. And this year, I think this age of K-pop is really different because we're getting a lot of like, we're getting a lot of new artists this year. And so I thought I would talk about a little bit of my favorite things in K-pop. So first off, there is a process for me anyways on how I listen to K-pop. So first I always watch the music video when it premieres, right? Then next you watch the performance video of that, and then next you watch the dance practice of that. Then you watch the relay dance of that, and then you watch all the dance covers that come from that. And then around the dance covers, usually like our amateur and professional videographers, oh my god. And then repeats. This is the process that I go to, and when I tell you I watch so many K-pop dance covers, I think I watch more than BookTube. Like, when I tell y'all it's a lot, I mean, it is a lot. So first off, I want to narrow down my favorite two songs. This was really hard, but I don't know, it was really hard to pick. So, but the first one I picked on here was Say My Name by ATEEZ. I love them. They, I think, are the new like it group. I just love their vibe and style, and every time they release something, it's always so different from their last ones. But they still always have this style, this swag to them that I like. That is consistent, and they just seem like some cool kids. Cool kids. The next one that I love, I just love this song. It's like on repeat every time on my K-pop playlist at work. I listen to it a lot. That's Feel Special by Twice. I just love this song. I love the lyrics. I just love the dance. I love everything about it. So the other thing is I want to recommend two dance covers. I love dance covers, okay? Like I just mentioned. The first one is from the previous one I said of Say My Name by ATEEZ. One of my favorite groups is Ryzen. They covered they are one of the few, in my opinion, that actually did this song justice. I've watched a lot of covers of Say My Name by ATEEZ dance covers. They're like one out of like the 20s that I've seen that actually can do it because they have this certain swag to it. And this cover is done, so first the boys start dancing, but once the girls start dancing, oh my god, they are incredible. The girls kill. They kill this dance. Like I was telling my friend, I was like, they could step on my neck. Yo, they are so good. This is one of the best dance covers this year. I love it so much. The other dance cover that I want to shout out is from Vietnam. It's the cover of Violetta by IZ*ONE, and that's from the Oops crew. This is one of the most beautifully shot and color graded, edited dance covers. It has this softness to it that goes perfect with the song, but also the way that dance are executed. It is, everything in this video comes together. Alright, so the last thing on here is obviously, besides reading, one of my favorite things, and that's anime. I knew I had to end this list by anime. If y'all know, I love anime. It is one of my favorite things. But narrowing this down was really hard, y'all, because there have been some fantastic animes this year. Like, I just put on here The Promised Neverland, Demon Slayer, Zerazan, My Stars Align, My Hero. My Hero is so good this season. Oh my god, it's so good. I can see why people say it's their favorite arc, like one of their favorite arcs in the manga. It is, oh my god, the anime is killing it. Dr. Stone, Fruits Basket. Oh my god, Fruits Basket was so good. I swear I cried. I swear I cried on that show like 15 times, and there's like only 24 episodes. But I wanted to mention 3 things on here. The first one is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Golden Wind. This is actually the first year that I decided to watch JoJo. It is one of those animes where everybody and their mama talks about it. My coworker was like, Michael, watch it, you will love it. I was like, watch it. He was like, watch it. I was like, fine. I was like, should I just start with this one? He's like, well, I would recommend you start from the beginning, but you can start with this one just so you can know. I was like, fine, I'll start with this one. And at first I didn't really get it. It was one of those things where I knew exactly why I didn't like it, and that's because the way that it tells its story, it's kind of like, it seemed as though it was like right as you go type of feeling, but in the end I knew exactly why people love it. It's because it's so spontaneous, but the way that everything about it is just like so good. The weirdness of it is so good. It's fun. It's also a show that's like really fun. Like, watching it is fun. The act of watching it is fun. And while it's like a little bit sloppy during like the storytelling perspective of it, the over the topness and the characters, like the funness of it, I think overcomes that. And my coworker was like, oh Michael, part 6, because this was part 5, he was like, oh, you're gonna love part 6 because it's the first girl JoJo. And I was like, oh my god, yes. He's like, it's really good. I was like, yay. So I'm really excited for that. The other anime that I want to talk about on here is, I think, an anime that we as anime fans don't deserve. Okay, we do not deserve the amount of quality, the amount of greatness, the amount of just sheer brilliance this anime is, and just the funness of it. And that's Mob Psycho 100. Mob Psycho 100 part 2. I feel as though this show was so good, we as anime fans don't deserve it, because I just love the show so much. I love Mob as a character. I love how this season has so many ties in and like Easter eggs with the first season. It's beautifully animated. Oh my god, it is beautifully animated. And I feel as though it stumbles a little bit towards the end, and it doesn't have as like the gravitas and like the amount of like feeling as, like, in my opinion, season 1 has. But I think it is still such a fantastic anime. Like, this season, the way that it covers about this mentor-teacher relationship and how the growth that people go through, I was like, oh, I love y'all so much. I love this show. Fantastic. I love it. Alright, so I think this is worth a mention just because of it's so memorable. And that's one of the best, it's like one of the best animes this year, in my opinion. And that's Vinland Saga. This is hailed as one of the greatest mangas, like one of like the greatest mangas. And watching it was like, wow, this, I could tell you, I could see why. This is basically about Vikings. But my favorite moment of this is there's this moment where the main character, Thorfinn, is washed up. I guess it's a mild spoiler, but he's like a revenge story almost. But the way that this episode, so in this part, Thorfinn is basically washed up and he's about to die, and like he's injured, and he gets rescued by this old woman and this girl. And in the beginning, she's talking about how her son is at the war, and they actually save Thorfinn and like bring him back up to help. The moment that I like genuinely cried and teared up was this moment where all of a sudden Thorfinn just loses it, and there is this moment where the camera zooms in on her face, like the woman, and the woman has this look of just distraught, like she helped this person, but then also come this realization that like her son is actually might be dead because of the war and like what happened. And it is just so beautifully animated, and the resonance of it, the power that this scene alone has. I was watching, I was like, wow, this is powerful. It was so, and it was like the 6th episode or something, but wild. But it is so beautifully done, and it's so resonating, and as the story progresses, it is just so good. And it is one of those animes where when I tell you it takes its time, oh my god, it takes its time. So yeah, those are the few things that I really enjoyed this year, I thought I will go through them pretty fast because the camera's overheating. So yes, if you watch any of those things, listen to those things, have any connection to those things, let me know. And the next video will be my favorite books of 2019. That'll probably be happening in January somewhere, probably just because that way I can have something while I'm in the Philippines. So yeah, it's gonna be a fun trip, I know for sure. I'm already, I need to start packing already. But yes, until then, I'll see you guys till next time. Bye! I was gonna make the joke of like, haha, see you next year, but that's corny.